Hello, hello. Welcome back, everybody. It's been a while. Haven't posted in a little bit. Just been continuing to trade every single day. Um, just without the live stream. Just wanted to do this little late night study session going into next week, and recapping my trades from last week. So let's go ahead and go over today's agenda. And let's see here. Alright, today's agenda. So starting at number one, we're going to review last week's trading stats, go over the overall numbers, and then we'll go into more detail and we'll go over the videos of the trades from last week. So we'll go over the big green days as well as the big red days. I have my best 2 trading days ever last week, as well as my worst 2 trading days ever. So setting records on both ends of the spectrum. So there's lots to be learned from this session. Mr. Cheese 2020, yeah, so I'm calling it 2020 momentum because last week's trading felt a lot like the trading back in 2020 and 2021, a couple years ago. It was very similar to that style of momentum, and hopefully it continues. So we'll see. After we go over those big green days, big red days, we're going to go over what I can do to improve and what sort of systems I can put in place to protect myself from having these big red days after each of these big green days. If we're going to continue to see this momentum, I want to make sure that I'm not giving back a quarter or half of my profits from the previous day every single time I have a big green day. So going over some sort of protocols or systems I can create for myself to protect myself from myself, in terms of risk management on the next day after a big day. And then after everything's said and done, we'll do a little small Q&A session if we have the time. So, all right, let's go ahead and get into number one on the agenda, the review of last week's trading stats. So, February, last week we had 3 green days, 2 red days. And yeah, here they are. Best day ever at $55,021.96, taking 252 trades. Second best day ever, 31,971, taking 141 trades. And my 2 worst days ever, 9,500 on Tuesday. Directly following my best day ever, I set my worst day ever. Then I made my second best day ever, and then I set another record for my worst day ever. So there's lots to unpack here. If I go over to the detailed view, we can see that my total profit for last week was around 60,000. I do have around, I believe, 1,500 in commissions and fees, just SEC and FINRA fees. 0 commissions, but the regulatory fees is what I had to pay, 1,500. Average daily gain of about 12,000, which is insane. Largest gain 7,600. Largest loss 6,900. Not happy about that. Average winning trade almost 1,000. Average losing trade around 500. My accuracy for the week was around 44%. It's a little bit lower than I usually have, but my profit loss ratio makes up for it. Usually I'm sitting around a 45 or 46% win rate, but 44 is fine as long as the profit loss ratio gets improved. Profit factor of 1.38. That's pretty decent for me. Usually I'm sitting around 1.2, 1.3. I'm not too profitable in terms of the profit factor, but I'm trying to get it closer to 1.4 on average. So 1.38 is not bad. So if I clean up the red days, I should be able to get this above 1.4 easily. Let's see. Let's go to days and time. Okay, so we had 5 trading days: Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And you'll see that I traded the most on Monday, and then the following days I kind of under traded. It's because I used so many orders on Monday. I had not too many orders remaining for the week. In terms of the 390 order rule for the SEC, which basically means that you can't take more than 390 orders every single day, or on average for the week. So I had like 800 orders on Monday, so I had to kind of undercut my orders for the rest of the week. Going by 15-minute time frame. Looks like I was red at the open. A lot of that has to do with the 2 red days. I'm sure on the green days I was perfectly fine at the open. But yeah, so the red days I really just sunk myself a deep hole at the open and just wasn't able to recover. But yeah, so I traded pretty late on that first day, all the way up till around 9:30 my time, because I'm 3 hours behind market time. Yeah, so 60 grand on the week. Here's the performance by duration for those interested. Most of my trades are under a minute in hold time, but there are a few where I hold into halts, which were also profitable. And then some of the longer hold times between 1 and 5 minutes, those are usually on the sub $1 stocks because those moves tend to take a little bit longer to resolve. Price and volume. You'll see that I was pretty much profitable around the board until about when there was this one stock that went above $20 that I traded. Took 5 trades, lost about 2,000. But the rest of the price ranges I did really good on, which is surprising. Usually I'm only good at stocks under $2, between 2 and 5 mostly. So anything under $5 is usually where my like key ranges, but was able to capitalize on the $5 to $20 stocks last week. Instruments. Performance by symbol. Our top performing symbol was RNLX on Monday, which we made 37,000 on. Followed by 17, 15, and 11,000 on my next 3 biggest gainers. And then on Friday, we had our worst gainer at 14,000 on GXAI. DBGI, couldn't get a grip on it on Tuesday. Yeah, so we'll see. I'll go over this more so in the video recap right here after. Win-loss expectation, 44% win rate. And yeah, so this is the roller coaster that was last week. I would like this to be a lot smoother. There was a point where I was at 78,000 on the week, and we ended up getting it back to 60,000. So we're currently in a little small drawdown from last week, or from last Friday. I hope to get out of this drawdown before, maybe not this week because it's only a 4-day week. 17 grand's a little bit much for a 4-day week, unless the momentum continues. But we'll see. I'll just play it by ear. Yeah, so that's it for the stats. Let's start going into the actual recordings. So number 2 on the agenda. We're gonna recap the big green days first, and then we'll go over the big red days, because I feel like those two are pretty similar. Alright, so starting with Monday, best day ever, making 55 grand. The day starts out pretty slow. Let's see here. I took a small trade on BMR, kind of just testing the waters, because I didn't know this was gonna be my best day ever. You never know until it actually happens. So just testing the waters on small size, kind of getting a feel for what the day's gonna be like. I see ICU here popping above $1, trying to see if we can get that breakout of 105 in with 17,000 shares. There is a big buyer or a big seller there, and it really doesn't look like there's that much volume going through. So I might have to cut this at 104, 103. We have a big buyer there at 103. Yeah, it looks like I start taking some off as it comes back down. So we're up 500 on the day. Then as this keeps going, looks like I take a loss on MGIH. Okay, looks like I add up there. Okay, this should not have been a loss. Or no, I already took the loss. Okay. Sorry. So in at 29, trying to see if we can get that break up to 51. There's 45, 50. Taking some off as it breaks up towards the halt level. There's 51. 62 is now the halt level. Watching it cruise up to 62, taking some more off. And what a trade there, up 2,000 in the first 10 minutes. So MGIH halts there. So we went from minus 50 on the day to plus 2,000 in that trade. And from there, I can start to feel like well, we just had that crazy move from $2 to 260 on MGIH. 30% move in just a matter of 2 candles. So I can already kind of see it's going to be a decent day here. We'll see what happens on resumption on this one. And in the meantime, we'll see if anything else is going to give us a setup here. So I'm trying to catch a bottom bounce on BMR here, small size. Watching it back above 7. We get that bottoming wick candle, and I'm watching this over 730. Seeing if we can get this break towards 750. Try and take some off there as it gets to 750. 2,000 shares here. There's 770. Look at that. From 630, or from 620, or previous candle was 645. From 645 all the way up to 775. It's over $1 a share on a $6, $7 stock. So it really was kind of, it started getting very, after the MGIH halt on Monday, we started getting very erratic in the price action. So BMR started to move a little bit erratically. I'm in here. Let's go over it again. In at 690, 696. And do I take profit here? 720, 730. Okay, taking some off at 737. And watching 750. There's a seller there. It breaks. Taking some more off. Let's see if I get out as it comes back down below 750. Still in a little bit. And it actually ends up reversing on me a whole 50 cents a share, 60 cents, 70 cents. Wow. So what a false breakout there. I was not quick to cut that. I could have been definitely quicker to cut that as soon as it broke back below 7. Should have cut a break even. Should never have been down 50 cents on that. Took a small scalp there off the bottom as it broke the previous low. And let's see. Just gonna fast forward a little bit. MGIH. Instantly halting up again. Missed it. From 275 to 324. Just missed that resumption. Gonna go ahead and dump my SPCB shares to see if I can catch anything on MGIH. Looks like MGIH is gonna go ahead and halt at 324. So just kind of hovering here at around 2,000 on the day. Trying to catch a flat top breakout at 26 on SPCB. Previous high is 2660. So if we get to break at 26, I'm looking for 27 and that break of view up at 2850. So we end up getting that break of 2660, watching 27 for an add up to 36,000 shares now. And we're looking at that big buyer at 27 to hold, but it doesn't. Then it refills at 27.05. I should probably be getting back in here. Yep, I do. Watching to see if 27 holds. Because we dipped below 27, but then we had that big buyer step in back in at 27. So now I'm looking at this towards a squeeze to 28. Big buyer at 27.30. Do I add here? It looks like I do. Oh, nope, didn't get filled. Alright, watching 28 break. Adding for the break of 28. We'll see. Only reason I'm adding there is because I do see the bids coming up with that big buyer at 27.70 and 27.80. So false break of 28, only went up to 28.01. Let's see. It's kind of hovering. I probably should be bailing here. Big buyer steps back in at 28. Looks like it's holding for now, watching 28.30 for the break. I'm going to bail on that as it looks like it's going to break down 28. So a nice $1,000 win there. And 28.30 is going to look like it's going to break the view up here at 28.50. Pre-market highs are at 38, so we're not too concerned about that just yet. But this isn't really the action I wanted to go over. I want to go over the halt resumption on MGIH. So let me go ahead and focus in on that. So watching MGIH resumption, it's showing 327. We halted up at 324. And I'm going ahead and looking at this for a move through highs here. We have some pre-market levels and some daily levels here around 370. Okay, let's see here. We resume with a small gap up at whoopsie daisy. Okay, did not mean for that. All right, take two. So we're resuming at 327. Watching this to see if we get a small micro pullback into a rip back up. Halt level up's at 391. Halt level down's 261. So it has to drop quite a bit down, all the way down to this white line, in order for it to halt down. Watching for a micro pullback. It's kind of looking like it wants to halt down a little bit for a second, but watching it back over 3, watching it in there, 2,700 shares, watching this back over 3. It's not going right away, getting out just in case it wants to halt down. Getting back in a little bit lower, bailing on it. It's not really showing. It wants to get back over 3 just yet, but look at here. 290 by 294, watching it through 3, back in there 98. Is it going to hold 3? Is it going to hold? It didn't hold for a second, so I got back out, but right back in at 239. Or, yeah, what did I say, 239? 302 is where I got in, and then I added at 310 as it's squeezing. I'd like to see this back over 320 and 330. 335 high a day, and watching this, look at that move to 361. Watching 360, there it is, in 8,000 shares. Look at this $4,000 win. Just gotta sell some at 360, making sure I don't, because I'm in 8,000 shares, I don't want to sell at 350 if I can get filled at 361 if I just wait a little bit longer for it to pin to that level. So waiting for the pin, then I'm gonna start selling my shares. So sold half, see, do I hold? Selling the rest as it kind of thins out there at 61. Alright, ends up actually halting up. And at this point, we are starting to pull away on the P&L. 5,700 within the first 20 minutes. So let's see. Let's go to the next resumption. Couple small trades on Wish, which is just off the high day scan. BMR started contesting highs again. Look at that, 868. I'll go back for you. So I got in there at 745, looking for this break of 750, and because this is a flat top here, or it's a double top at 750, and then there's a little pivot here around 770, 780. So if you break that 780 pivot where it failed last time, we could see this through 8 with 804 as our daily resistance. So getting in small size here for now. There it goes, it breaks it back. So I took it off for 40 cents there. And then I'm looking to get back in as it breaks 8. Getting back in, watching the 8 break. Is it going to break? Nope, getting out at 790, but then it ends up going without me there. So let me see, let me go back here for a second and see if I could have held that. So get out there at 780, getting back in at 8. It is kind of holding 790 here. It dipped back down to 790. So I panicked out, but it's holding. It's not going below 90. So yeah, I should have held. And then back in there, 812 for this rip back to 868 halts up. Look at that. Very nice. So now up 6,200 on the day. Buying this micro pullback with a little bit more size, trying to get this micro pullback from 54 and trying to sell at 68 as it comes back up and retests the halt level. Looks like I'm probably going to hop out here at 68. See if I'm at, so what I'm doing right here, why I'm not out yet, is because I'm looking to see if this halt level is going to move up to like 880 or $9 a share. And on these stocks where they're kind of just going crazy, they tend to whenever they don't halt immediately, the halt level will move up, and we tend to continue to pin to that halt level up. So if we're pinning at 868 here, and the halt level moves up to $9, typically on these stocks where it's just kind of going straight up, we'll see it continue to pin to the next halt level up. So it'll shoot up to $9 a share, and it'll have some resistance battle at $9 a share as well. So that's what I'm looking for. That's why I'm still in and holding. If it looks like it's gonna halt, I'll probably sell my shares. So I'm waiting here. See, I'm giving it time, and it takes about 15 seconds for a stock to get halted once it's pinned to its halt level. So that's the timer it takes in order to hold into the halt. So that's just about like the mental timer you should have when you're trying to see if the halt level is going to move up, is just kind of like mentally after like 10 seconds, if you want to get out, you should be getting out. So it's been here at the halt level for a little bit here. And that's 15 continuous seconds. So 15 continuous seconds, because you know how it tapped 868 there like 20 seconds ago? It didn't hold. Now it's coming back up and testing it again. So starting right here, 15-second timer from 51. Let's see if it holds. Alright, looks like here I'm holding into the halt up. I believe the only reason I decided to do that was because we broke highs and MGIH was already going crazy on the day. Typically I wouldn't have held into the halt up, or at least I would have sold half or 3/4. This one I didn't sell anything, so I guess I felt like the day was very bullish, so I continued to hold into this halt. We'll see if it pays off. MGIH resumption is going to be at 58.12. Actually, no. It's going to be at 10:03.12, so let's fast forward a little bit here. Watching, couple seconds to resumption here. It's showing 375. We halted up at 61, and we have some resistance on the daily at 378. So watching, see if we get a dip and rip. This is the third halt up in a row, I believe, so I'm being a little bit cautious here. Waiting. Okay, looks like I instantly take a $300 loss there, buying at 75 and selling at 62. Waiting. Okay, so I'm watching here. We made this small micro pullback. If we can get over 380, that's the spot to buy for the next halt up. Watching 380. Is it going to go? Nope. I'm out at 61. So that was a very nice fill, and that was very sharp timing on my part. It's taking a small loss there. It's coming back up for 380, getting in at 72. And the second it didn't break 80, I bailed on it because I knew we could get a halt down. So I'm out there at 61, seeing if we're going to get that halt down. 3's the lows. Watching, it's coming back up, so I'm going to get back in, small size. Watching 80 break, there's 80. Watching for the break of 4. 450 is the halt up. Holding this position, making sure I fully capitalize on this momentum. Is it going to get back over 4? It doesn't, so I go ahead and bail at 82 for a small winner. And watching back over 80 here. I really want to see this hold 4, so that's why I'm getting so aggressive here. Because the thing is, if MGIH wanted to halt down after these 3 halts up, it would have done it already on this first drop. So, because it didn't, I'm now thinking bullish indicators towards 444, the next halt up. So as soon as this thing's gonna, if it breaks 412, the previous candle's high, I'm seeing 444. That's what I want to see. We broke 12, there's 15, there's 20, there's 30. Are we gonna get 44? Holding a little bit longer, gave it some time. It didn't want to get back over 30, so I took it out at 22. Now up 8.3 on the day. It's dipping back below 4. Is it going to hold? Get back in there for a dip below 4. Probably not the best trade there. Here, I'm going to go back and see that again. So it dips below 4, but at this point, it's topping tail. Probably shouldn't be getting in there at 90. Got in there at 94, but it's already at 80. Lucky fill there, getting out at 87. Not a bad fill. Now watching another retest of 4, seeing if it holds. Is it going to hold? Bailing on it, break even. So I'm trying to see if it wants to continue to hold above 4. If it doesn't want to hold above 4, then I'm going to get out of the way on this next drop and wait for the next drop to around 350. So we'll see. It's still holding 4. 410, there's a big seller. Waiting. Watching that seller at 410, getting a size here at 406. Cutting at 4. That was a little bit aggressive there, trying to get in for the break of 410. Probably should have saw some buying at 410 before I took that position, so that was a loss I didn't need to take. So yeah, at this point I'm starting to get really aggressive on everything I'm trading. Let's see here. Okay, I'm going to skip forward a little bit because we do have 5 days or 4 days of trading to get through. And this isn't even the stock that I fully capitalized on. Oh yeah, BMR. Let's watch this BMR resumption. So it resumes after a 10-minute long halt, and it's showing a almost $1 a share gap up on BMR, and I'm holding 1,800. So it's showing it's showing almost a $2,000 gain on the halt resumption. So watching this BMR resumption, there it goes all the way up to 1050 on the ask. I'm up $2 a share unrealized. And there it goes up to 1139 instantly into the halt up. I'm up almost $3 a share unrealized on 1,800 shares. Watching, and I take it off right there at 1139. I was probably could have held a quarter position, so I was taking off 3/4 and holding a quarter into this next halt just because it was such a strong halt up. But it's never wrong to take profit in that kind of a crazy move. Taking that off, and that puts me at 11,000 on the day. Let's go ahead and fast forward here. Some more profit on MGIH as it pushes highs. DHAI showing 314 halt. Let's go back and review that. So DHAI, watching this for the break of 3. In there, start getting a starter here early at 93, 293 starter size, and I'm watching this for the break of 3. With that early entry, I can afford to add a lot of shares at 3 for the halt up at 314. So adding there up to 9,000. Now my average is 96. I think I'm going to add again here for the break of 3. Watching. So it's holding 96. As long as it holds mid 90s, I'm good. Looks like I don't add. Actually, no, wait. You know what? I did try to add there at 299, but my order rejected. I think I was maxed out on buying power for this particular trade. I think. But yeah, I tried adding there, wasn't able to, and I'm selling there as it's getting halted for a 20-cent gain. All right, this puts me at 14,800 on the day, and at this point, only 45 minutes into the trading day, I'm realizing that this could be a record-breaking day because my previous best day ever was 16,000 with a high of 18,000 that day. So I'm looking at this and being like, okay, maybe we can get a $20,000 day here. The day is still early and this momentum is crazy. So I'm thinking 20,000, that'll be an amazing day, new record, and that's that. But boy was I surprised on how much this day continued to be. So BMR resumes, it continues higher. At this point, I don't think I'm comfortable trading it. It's gone up from $6 or $7 to $13 without a single pullback. So let's see if I do take a trade on here or not. Has a topping tail there. Looks like I'm focusing on DHI instead on this pullback. But yeah, BMR, if it gets back over 1330, that would be the entry for a move higher. There's 1350, but it doesn't hold 1330, so you would need to bail out here if it doesn't get back over 1330. There it goes, 1330, 1360. Very choppy though, it's not really pulling to 14. Now it's pulling to 14, watching this for the break of 15. 1522. Okay. At this point, this was a bit of a chase trade. Buying there at 1450 with 2,700 shares, that's really aggressive, and I was pretty much chasing it because I was watching this trade. I didn't see the price action on this when I was trading DHAI. So this was a bit of a risky trade here. Hopefully it works out. It looks like it doesn't. It's coming back down on me. And rightfully so. I did chase it. So yeah, this was bad. That was a bad trade on my part. Getting out at 14.20, it's taking a 30-cent loss there on 2,700 shares, about $900. Um, and that trade was completely avoidable. I did chase it just because of the momentum of the day. But yeah, that was a trade that should never be taken. If I wanted to take this trade, I have to get in at 14 or at 13.30 where it previously broke previous high. So 13.30 or 14, but getting at 14.50 is just too extended. So here this is chasing it. Just hopping in the second my level 2's hovered is chasing it. And if I took profit right away, I actually would have been in the green, but I was hoping for that halt up at 15.22, and it just reversed on me 30 cents. So that was a chase trade, put me down an extra 1,000. Coming back down to 10,000 on the day, which isn't good, from a high of 14,000. We are getting a bottom bounce here on DHAI. It's got 3 candles of sell-off, and I'm getting in here at big size at 280. And as long as this doesn't go back below 280, I can hold this for quite some time. With the buyer there at 255, as long as that holds. 255 is holding, watching the break of 290. Seeing if it wants to hold 255. Now I'm going to keep on holding this until it gives me signs that there's just too many sellers. So watching DHAI. It's coming back down to 286. Doesn't want to hold 285. There's the break of 90. Watching 95 and break of 3 now. So watching DHAI for the break of 3. Is it going to hold 85? This one's a bit of a slower moving one. BMR is kind of going crazy over there. Might have been trading the wrong one, but I do get, hey, I think a 5-cent winner here. Yeah, I bail out at 83 and 85 as it comes back down. All right. Trading BMR some more. The break of 15, 1550, and 1586 is the halt up. So watching 1586. 1625 is the new halt up. So the halt low moved up, so I'm getting it some more range to move. And selling on the ask here. I don't want to be selling on the bid because of the spread. So selling on the ask as it keeps on pushing higher. 1625 halt up, looking to get out the rest, and there we are, out at 1622. So back to highs on the day at 15,000. And let's see. Gave some back off the top. Do want to fast forward a little bit. Ah, RNLX. This is the one I made 37,000 on. So RNLX is a penny stock, and it was pushing highs here at 77 cents. I'm looking to buy this as it's pushing highs with the halt low up there at 83. It's looking like it's getting close to that halt up, and when these sub $1 stocks start halting up, they can very easily get above $1 and start going to $2 pretty quickly. Because in order for a sub $1 stock to halt, it has to go up, I think, 20% in a 5-minute period. Whereas stocks above $1 have to go up only 10%. So it requires a larger move percent-wise for a sub $1 stock to halt, but when it does, it usually tends to result in larger percent moves. So watching 83 here, I'm in 36,000 shares, and the reason I'm being so aggressive is I'm at my high a day on the P&L. I'm watching this, looks like it's going to halt up at 83. We end up reversing though, and I'm in with large size here, and looks like I actually end up adding down there at 76, which is not a good add. Yeah, I'm adding there at 75 because I see the buyers at 75 holding. So in there, 54,000 shares. And as soon as 54 looks like it's going to break, I'm trying to get out, but wasn't able to get out till 70 and 60, 67. Just took a $3,000 loss there. Very, very bad. So that's how RNLX started for me. But we were able to quickly um, recover on RNLX once this thing started to finalize its pullback, and now the new halt up is at 87. And I was able to build this nice position down here for the first 1 minute candle to make a new high at 73. I'm in here 54,000 shares at 72, and I'm watching this as 75, 76 breaks. And I'm looking to hold this for the break of high a day because this is we're showing that we have the gumption to move multiple pennies at a time here. Watching 83 break, and I'm holding this thing with 54,000 shares. Watching the break of 83 up to 87. Looks like it's coming back down a little bit, taking some off, taking 9,000 off at a time. Watching 80, see if it wants to get back above 80. My average is still down there at 73, so I'm still well above profit in order to sell this thing. So I'm holding with that big cushion on the profit on the unrealized P&L. Big buyer comes in at 83. I'm watching this over 83 now. 84. Does it get back over 84? It doesn't really break as I want it to, so I'm selling, selling, selling. And I'm out of my position at 83 there. So what I wanted to see was that break of 84 up to the halt level. But we didn't get it. We broke 84.01, and we didn't really go any higher. So I got out of my position there. Back to green on the ticker from down almost 5,000 on it. Getting back in as 84 holds. So in at 83 average there. Okay, let me go ahead and just speed this up a little bit. So watching 84 to see if it breaks. There's the break. 86, 91's the halt up. So we see that seller at 86, but it breaks. There's 87. Is it going to hold 85? This is the question here. Is it going to hold 85? If it holds 85, we can look to add for the break of 87. It's not really holding 85. It's kind of going back on me. So I'm probably going to look to get out here if it doesn't hold 82. It's holding 82 for now, but it's looking sketchy. I should be thinking about bailing. Watching 82, and yep, I look like I'm going to bail there at 82. We see that huge buyer there at 80 though. So if it holds 80 here, I have to get back in immediately. So watching 80. Is it going to hold? It's holding back in there at 81, 82. I'm looking to see if we can get this over 84 with that big buyer at 80. There's 84, 85 on the ask, and I'm looking at this for the break of high a day. 87, looking at adding at 87. There we go. Buyers are stepping in. There's 94. Look at that. Taking profit at 90 and 94. There we are. Look at that. Just barely missing the 20,000 mark on the day. As it bounces around here looking like it wants to halt, but not really, I'm going to go ahead and buy some dips here at 92. Halt level moved up to 97 now. Buyer stepped in at 91, watching 97. Slamming the buy button there at 95, getting to 95.50. I'm taking some off at 97 because I am in a little bit high. And unless the halt level moves up above $1, I gotta probably take this off. Taking off another half and looking to hold the rest into the halt up. There we go. All right, let's go 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So the halt looks like it's going to resume at 105, which is a 10-cent gap on my 9,000 share position. There's the resumption, 108 high. So I'm looking at this for a dip back to $1. Halt down's at 90 cents. Halt up's at 120. If we can get a dip down to $1, even a break of $1 and a reclaim, I'm going to look to slam the buy button for this to zoom back through 108, 110, and then 120's halt up. So watching. It's got that big seller at, or big buyer at 103, but it's not really breaking back above 104. So I'm going to go ahead and sell this for now, and we'll watch for the reclaim of 10, the breakdown at 1 and the reclaim up to 110. I'm also in a position at BMR. I think the only reason I'm inside BMR right now is I probably forgot the resumption time on RNLX, if I'm being honest. And so that's the only reason I would be in this trade. Usually I don't take trades if I'm expecting a resumption of another stock, but I guess I forgot the resumption time. So I took off BMR to keep my capital reserved for RNLX, watching 110 break. There's 110 tapped, but it didn't break just yet, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off for a small loss, watching 105. It's holding 105. Should have held that position, so me selling there was a mistake. Selling this one's fine, but when I got back in here, when it was holding 105, you'll see I get back in here, 9,000 shares. Selling here is a mistake. It's holding 105, there's 113, so I'm getting back in here. Heavy size, 22,000 shares. Looking for this to halt up at 120. Watching 113, some resistance there. Just break even right now on me. I'm gonna go ahead and have to take it off there at 108 because it didn't go. Getting back in a little bit. Probably gonna sell this, yep. So it still needs to test $1. Once it tests $1, I can get a better position here. Better cost average. Ooh. Dip down to 92, the halt down right there. Does it hold the halt down and get halted, or does it bounce back up? I see it start to shoot back up to $1, so I go ahead and take a position. But then I also see it's back to 92 on the bid, so I probably sell this right away. I don't. 95 on the bid. Yeah, I sell it. Okay, watching to get back in for the break back over 1. In at 98, looking to add some more. There's 1, it's holding 1. And this is a perfect bottoming wick after a halt. It tested the halt down level, was able to reclaim $1 a share. And now I'm looking at this to 120 with large size. So we'll see if $1 holds. Hopefully it does. If it does, I can hold this to 120, no problem. Here's 103, 105, 107. Are we going to get this break of 110? It's taking some off here as we get some sellers popping up at 104. Sellers are getting bought through though, so I go ahead and add back, watching 110. There's 113, 119's the halt up. We double top at 114 there. In 36,000 shares now at 104, up 10 cents a share. Watching 115, 119 for the halt up. There's 119, taking some off as we get into the halt. And we are now above 20,000 on the day. All right, gonna go ahead and fast forward. Yeah, so that's pretty much how this trading this stock went. Here, I'll show this next resumption, and then I think I'm gonna move on to tomorrow, the next day, because it's already been 50 minutes. It's starting to get late, and I'm only on day 1 so far. So I'll show this resumption. Let's see, it resumes at 48.31, so 53.31. 53.31. It's showing a 124 resumption, and it halted up at 119. So it's showing a 5-cent gap. Watching, it's a 5-minute long halt. There's 28. Halt level up is at 39. Halt level down is at 109. Watching, adding right away, trying to see if we can get that instant halt up at 139. Looks like my position doesn't fill till 28 or 29. Bit of a slow fill there. I'm gonna have to cut this because of the high fill and the slow fill. But I'm gonna go ahead and slam it back once it holds 20. And I'm looking at this to hold 20 and break 30. And at 27, big buyer there at 29. There is red on the tape. Let's see if it holds 29. It is. Watching 39 for the halt up. Seeing those sellers at 36, taking some off, taking the rest off as it kind of reverses on me. So no real profit just yet on this resumption. Okay, let's see. Previous low was 21. Low of this current candle is 21. So if we break 21, previous halt up was at 19. So if we break 21 down to 19, halt down's at 113. So as long as we don't get too close to the halt down, let's see if we get a bounce trade here. Alright, watching. Buying coming through at 22, all this green. I'm going to go ahead and punch it. Watching 22, see if it holds out there as it gets a small flush down to 20. Maybe not confident in the trade, but we'll see if I get back in here. Back in 25, and is it going to finally get that break up to 30? Nope, cutting it. Buyer there at 23, so now I'm going to go ahead and get in here as it holds 23. Getting in heavy size here, watching break of 30, and it instantly comes back down on me to 23, so I'm going to have to cut this again. Getting chopped around here a little bit. Haven't lost too much though off of the highs, but getting chopped around a little bit. 112 is the halt down. So watching if we're going to get halted down here. Heavy sellers at 15 and 14. Halt downs at 12. Halt down's at 10 now. Might just halt down here. Hopping into a BMR trade. Up $1 a share. Halt up's at 19.15 on BMR. Yep. All right. So RNLX. Let's see here. Gonna scoot forward a little bit. Didn't make that much during this time. And then that was a good trade. Let me go back for a second here. All right. Let's go back. Looks like this trade lasted for quite some time. So on RNLX here, I'm looking for this. It was doing this small flat bottom here around 116, and it was holding this hidden seller or hidden buyer at 116, 115 area. So I was looking at it to hold. There's that big buyer. It's no longer a hidden buyer. It's now a shown buyer at 15, and I'm in with huge size here, 45,000 shares. Pretty sure that's using that must be using the profits of the day because I didn't have $45,000 in the account starting on the day on that day. So yeah, I think I'm pretty much using the profits from the day added to my account balance to be able to take this large position. So using the settlement margin to my advantage here. So as the day, as I'm adding profit on the day, I'm able to take more and more size because my account value is bigger. So RNLX watching this over 20, 34 is the halt up. Let me fast forward just a little bit here. Get the break of 20. Is it to want to hold 20? We get a hidden buyer at 20. So we'll see if it holds. It's holding 19. And there we go, 21, 22. And watching it through 25. And 45,000 shares still, so starting to take off a little bit here at 25, 27, and 34 is the halt up, so I'm looking at this at 34, still holding 36,000 shares. And if this comes back below 25, I'm probably going to take it off. Just because there's a sell wall forming at 26. Okay, it looks like it's going back above 29, 30, and 35 is the halt up. So watching 35 for final sells. It's a beautiful trade from 20 to 35. A huge size too. Taking it off into the halt up for an $8,000 gain. Okay. On resumption, we add some more profit. At this point, I'm like, okay, I've doubled my previous best day ever. Was at 16,000. Now I'm at double. And MGIH starts going crazy. I was able to add some profit there on this move. RNLX continues to have these halts where I'm able to get large size on these halts. Now up 22,000 on that one. Yeah. I mean, it was just crazy. All these halts. Able to make this much money in only 2-3 hours. It was crazy. There's no other word for it. I hit a high of 60,000 on that day and gave back about 10% off the top, so I said to call it a day at 55,000. Same thing goes for, so that was my best day ever, 55,000. On the 15th, I had my second best day ever at 32,000. I'm not going to go over this one as much because it's pretty much the same style of trading those halts that we did on the $55,000 day. Was able to get up 7,000 in the first half hour. Then once I broke 20,000, I was like, okay, this could be another record day. On this one I was trading, let me go ahead and look at the profit loss images. What was I trading? It was trading CHNR as well as SIEN. So yeah, these two in particular were the ones I was trading. And yeah, it was a lot of the same, just trading halts around halt ranges. And then there was these extreme sell-off dips that I would take nice large positions on to catch the bounce back up. Same thing here probably. I probably bought this at 42 for the move back to 50. Yeah, this is more of the same as the $55,000 day. Hit a high of 33,000 and finished the day at 32,000. So the reason I skimmed through that day was because I want to get to the more important red days. So going over the red days is just as important as going over the green days, if not more important. So we hit the hour mark on the live stream. Let's go ahead and pull up the agenda. Review last week's big green days. Done. All right, we're going to be reviewing the red days now. And yeah, let's go ahead and review these big red days and then go ahead and start setting some guidelines for what I should do moving forward into this momentum if it continues. Taking a little water break there. I've been talking for an hour straight. All right. So, big red day number one, biggest red day at the time, 9,700. This was directly after following my biggest green day at 55,000. So, at the day after the $55,000 day, I have a max loss of 2,000. And you might be asking, well, you're down 9,000, so how did that happen? Um, the day after the $55,000 day, I was like, okay, we're most likely gonna have some more momentum tomorrow, as in this following day. And I don't want to undercapitalize if that happens, so I increased my max loss to 4,000. And you might be saying, well, yeah, you're still down 9,000, so why are you down 9,000 if your max loss is 4,000 now? Well, I tend to get very stubborn after a big green day. I get very cocky and arrogant. So I tend to not be able to accept a red day after a big green day, which usually makes it snowball into much worse than it should be. So at this point, I took a couple stabs on DBJI pre-market, and going into market open, I was down $100 on DBGI. Took a couple stabs on it pre-market during this little pullback range. I usually don't trade pre-market because I'm usually not that good at it. So for some reason, I decided to trade a little bit, lost 100 going into the open. Now, on DBJI here, this one was not good. For some reason, my pause button isn't working here. Let me go ahead and open it up this way. See if that makes it better. Okay, for some reason, video recording's not working. 1 second. Try closing and reopening it. There we go. There we go. Alright, so the open happens. I'm watching GBGI for a bounce off VWAP. Let's see what happens in this first candle, because I almost break max loss in the first minute of the day on this day. So I'm watching, it's broken VWAP, and I'm looking for a reclaim of VWAP. I'm watching for green on the tape. There's green, getting in there at 725. But it's instantly already down 60 cents on me at 660. So I mistimed the dip with fairly large size. If this was yesterday, I would have taken 900 shares, not 1,800. But because of the big green day yesterday, I decided to take more size. So that's red flag number one. If I were to make a note sheet, which I will, I'll make a little notepad just so I can make some notes to myself on reviewing these red days. So number one, taking too large of size after a big green day. Green day before proving, before getting green on the current day. So basically taking too much size before I can prove to myself that today's also going to be a green day. So I should have been with much less size on a $7 stock that was flushing $1 at the open. So, and then not only that, but I go ahead, I sell at 51. I believe I buy this back as it's breaking back above $7. Yeah, so be getting back in there at 74, same size, and I'm already down 2,100 on the day. Getting back in, this isn't necessarily a bad trade for the breakback over 7. It is extended on the drop, and it should get a small bounce. But do I sell when it does the bounce? Watching 7, are we going to break the break of 7 here? I added there at 93, very aggressive, 2,700 shares, 680. So watching the break of 7, it does break 7 here, up to 720 on the ask, 705 on the bid, and I'm up 800 unrealized, 1,000 unrealized. But I don't take it off. See, that's the thing though. Another note is that number 2 tend to hold trades. Not trades, scalps. Tend to hold scalps longer after a big green day, hoping for the burst of green momentum to soar the stock higher. So a lot of hoping that this was going to break 7 and soar and rip through. The high here is 790, so hoping for this candle to go green from a low of 630. So another thing is, yeah, so on days where, because that was a beautiful scalp. I was in at 680. It went over to 720. It didn't hold 7. I should have gotten out as soon as it didn't hold 7. Whether that's break even or at $7 for a 20-cent profit. But I didn't. I held, and I'm selling it down here at 720 for a 60-cent loss. So now I'm down 3,700 on the day, basically at max loss for the day. I set my max loss at 4,000 that day. So basically at max loss in the first 45 seconds of the day. And that's just from oversizing as well as holding that scalp longer than it needed to. I had a 20-cent profit on my hands with large size, and I should have just taken it. It would have brought me down to only 1,000 in the red, but instead I'm sitting down here almost 3,000 in the red. And then I do end up catching this really nice move on BGLC for the breakout. This is an opening range breakout. I usually don't take these, but it's something I traded back when I was unprofitable. An opening range breakouts, which is when you're buying after the second candle of the day breaks the first minute candle's high. This previous candle had a high of 17, so I'm buying at 115 for the break of this previous candle's high, and it's the first minute of the day, so it's the opening range breakout. So I'm buying here at 15, hoping for the break of 17, and the halt up's at 22. The reason I'm buying is because we have that wick through $1. So it broke $1 and it reclaimed, and we are now seeing it push highs. I wish I was able to get in down there at 1, but I was too busy scalping this with too large a size to get in here at 1. We are holding this. I believe we hold the whole position into the halt up. We might be selling a little bit. Yeah, we sell 9,000 into the halt up. And this BGLC trade actually ends up working very nicely. I can just show the final results on this one. Let me go ahead and look over that BCIG trade. 2,000 red is unacceptable on this. 9,000 shares. So yeah. Again, taking too large size, desperation out of already being down 3,000. Taking 9,000 shares here, I haven't proved that I have any consistency this day at all yet. So I need to be taking at very maximum 4,500 shares because it is a $2 stock. I can take a little bit more size, but 4,500 shares should be the maximum before I'm green on this stock. And then boosting it up to 9,000 and 18,000 after I'm up a good amount on it. Yeah, so that's too much size. I'm watching this for a break of 110 or 210. I'm taking it off as it flushes back down on me. Probably gonna get back in here if it gets back over 2. Watching, yep. And this, I think I just paused like a deer in the headlights here. Was not expecting it from 210 down to 170. So yeah, so I get in here at 94. And at 85, I should already be cutting it. I'm already wrong at 85, but I'm freezing like a deer in headlights here, and it's already down at 75 and 70. I try adding there. Look at that. I try adding at 70, but I'm not allowed to because I have my buying power locked up at BGLC halt. And the buy at 70 would have worked out in my favor too, but I didn't have the buying power. There's a buyer at 76. I'm going to go ahead and end up selling into that 76 buyer. So already down 5,000 realized, but I have about 900 unrealized in gains. And we'll watch this BGLC resumption. On resumption, we get a little dip and rip here. I'm watching this through 24. There's 37s to halt up. So this was not bad. This was very similar to how MGIH was trading the day prior, as well as RNLZ. So this was nice. Up 3,000 on this one, but still down quite a bit on the day. And that has to do with the huge size I was taking on BCIG, as well as, what was the other one? I don't remember. What's the other one? It was DBGI. DBGI at the open was just bad. Should not have been taking that much size. So here I'm looking at this bottom bounce from 56. Took it off at 61 as 63 was not breaking. I take some more trades on DBGI even though it's not working out for me. So this is another thing. Another thing is number 3. Need to have a max loss per ticker. So I have a max loss per day, but per ticker I also need to have a max loss. Let's put it at minus 1,000 if my max loss is 2,000. I think that's fine. Basically, this will be to prevent having one stock bring me to max loss. Basically, if I'm already red 1,000, let's say, or in this case, in this particular day, 2,000, because my max loss was 4,000. So let's just make this a rule instead of a general number. Let's go. Max loss per ticker equal to half of max loss on the day, or daily max loss. So if I'm already down half my max loss on one symbol, then why should I continue trading that symbol if I'm already so red on it? You know? Because, I mean, it's clearly not clicking with me, this DBGI. So, I shouldn't continue trading it, but I do, and I continue trading it with large size too. It looks like I actually do size down a little bit, 900 shares, but at this point I should be on 450 shares or something, because I'm clearly not hitting on it. So here, I'm up 20 cents on the bids, 30 cents on the ask. Buyer, they're at 39. Yeah, design, especially if there's good action elsewhere, exactly. I don't want to get caught up trading one ticker that I'm red on when I could switch gears and pivot to something else I might be more profitable on. So if I completely stopped trading DBGI here and solely focused on BGLC, which I'm up 3,900 on, if I just pivoted, completely forgot about DBGI, and been like, hey, there's people making money on it, but I'm not. I'm not making money on it, even though there's plenty of other traders making money on it. Because I'm not making money on it, why should I continue trading it? So, if I had pivoted here and just focused on BGLC, maybe I wouldn't have missed the halt resumption here. I think I ended up missing the halt resumption or something like that. Um, so let's see here. I think wait, I missed here DBGI. Yeah. So on DBGI, I also lock up another huge loss on big size here. Was this an ad or was this just straight up $2,700, 2,700 shares? Let me see here. So there's a big buyer there at 39, and it's holding, but it's getting smaller. It used to be 500 something, now it's 487. Let's see here. I get in 2,700 shares, and I'm looking at this through the break of 880 because we keep on holding that buyer at 39, so I get in bigger size. Looking for the break of 880. We show 866. We don't break, and we're already showing 850 on the bid, and we're coming back below 850. There's 39. It is getting eaten up. The buyer on 39 is getting eaten up. It was at 489, now it's at 460, 410, taking it off. Okay, so I do get out there in time. So why do I take such a big loss now? Do I get back in? Oh, do I get back in? I do. So back in at 61. It's still not breaking over 70. There's 70. Is it breaking? There's 80. Okay, I can see why I held this because it did look like I was going to break 80 there for a second. But still in way too much size for how much I'm down on this one. There's the breakdown back below 50. 40, and there's 39. 39 now only has 254 there instead of 400, which it was before. So this is probably going to break and snap, if I had to guess. Yep, there it is. Look at that. Down $1 a share on the bid. Yep, taking it off there at 72. So that's that buyer. If I play it, let me just play this clip again in full speed without pausing. So we had that buyer at 39. It's getting eaten up on the bid. And the second it breaks, it drops 60 cents. So watching it again, false breakout of 880 there. Do I have time to buy to get out? Let's see. Nope, there was no time. There was no time. I had to just recognize that it was not breaking over 80 once it was at 850 and 840. There was no time to get out for that break of that seller. And there it is, 772. That is where I stopped trading DBGI for the day. I stopped trading it at 7,000. I really should have stopped at 2,000. That would have saved me $5,000 right there. So yeah, implementing a max loss per ticker is what I should do next. Also, yeah, taking too large a size. So yeah, I was taking too large a size, but how can I define that better? Like a concrete rule. I think a rule I could do for that is take half size, half normal size until green. How much? I guess just until green. Once I'm green, I can go back to normal size. Half normal size on the day after a big day. The problem is on big green days, usually I'm taking double size. So I should be taking a quarter size of what I was used to taking the previous day. So whatever I think I should take based on previous days. Profit / trading style. Use 1/4 of that. Because on a day like the day before, a $2 stock, I would use 9,000, 18,000 shares. But on this particular day, I should have used 4,000 or 2,700 or something like that. just until I got green. Um, that way I didn't let's see. That way I didn't blow up too early in the day. So taking smaller size as well as having that max loss per ticker should slow down my red days on the days directly after those big green days. And then, let's see, I'm tending to hold scalps longer, hoping for that big burst of momentum. So, in order to combat this, what I could do is, let's see, I need to be holding scalps for the normal amount of time, which, how do I define that? Basically, don't hold and hope for the momentum to come in until you start to see the halting momentum occur from the previous day's momentum. Basically, what I mean by this is continue to scalp trade until we start seeing that one stock start to halt up a bunch. I think on Tuesday, I believe that stock was, let me go back. I believe it was BMR and Hollow, HOLO. I believe those were the two that, oh, also BGLC. BGLC was also halting up a bunch. So what I should have done is, one second here. Whoops a daisy. What I should have done was basically taken scalp trades on BCIG, taken scalp trades on DBGI, taking those 20-cent wins on DBGI, taking those 10-cent wins on DBGI off the lows, and building that profit cushion so that when BGLC comes around, I have a profit cushion on the day. And you can see I'm up 4,000 on BGLC here. But, how do I phrase this? I should have been, I guess the mentality going into the trades should be to just take scalp trades until we see that one stock go. So in this case, it was BGLC. It halted up twice in a row already. And I believe on this resumption, it also halts up because, again. Yeah, so on this resumption, it halts up again. And it's clear that BGLC is the one that's mimicking the momentum from the previous day, where it's just halting up and halting up. So my focus should be, if I want to trade the way I traded the previous day, I should be trading BGLC exclusively. And then let's see here. A couple of green trades on OMH. These ones were scalp trades, so these were scalp trades. Looking for the break of 5, we get the break of 5, and I'm taking it off as soon as the bids get back over 5. I believe here. Yep, bids get over 5, and I think I take it off here. Waiting for 510 now. Breaks back below 5, and still in it, huh? This is what I mean, though. I should already be out. This is exactly what I mean when I say I'm holding longer. This is a scalp trade, and I'm holding it for the break of 520 or something. Break of this high instead of just taking the scalp. So this is a scalp trade. I should be taking it off at 5. I ended up taking it out at 499. Got a lucky fill there. But I should have been out at 5 or 503. Let's see, get back in here. $510. Is it going to hold $510? It does break $510. I'm not in it for the scalp there. Ends up breaking back down. Maybe I take another trade on this though. Yeah. Okay, watching 510. 513 previous candle high. It's holding 5 there in 3,600 shares. Bit of an aggressive position here, 3,600 shares. And at 505, we have the break of 520 coming up. Seller at 520. Oh yeah, I remember this. I remember this. So let me go back over this. I remember this guy. I threw out a limit order at 520 and I didn't get filled, and it kind of threw me out of the loop. So I threw a limit order here. As I see this big seller at 520 getting filled, I throw out a limit order to be also part of that filling. I wanted to get half my order out at 520 and the rest out whatever was above 520. So I threw out a limit order right there, limit out at 520. And as soon as I do, the bids drop to 510, 511, and 515, 506. And I'm break even on the bid. Um, and basically, I had to cancel this order in order to sell my position. So in the time it took for me to cancel this order and sell my position, I think the trade goes negative on me. Yeah, down at 88, took it off. So it was a false breakout the second it didn't break 20 after showing it was going to break 20. There was a big seller there at 520, and it looked like it was going to break, and then it didn't. So there was definitely some sort of hidden seller there as well that kept it from breaking. And I think if I didn't throw out that limit order, if I threw out a market order instead, I probably would have been marketed out at 15 or maybe 12, but I definitely would have been out for profit. I think that limit order kind of messed with my head a little bit because it didn't get filled. And then I had to cancel the order right when it was flushing through 5, which delayed me from selling a little bit out there at 88. Buying the dip there, good reaction time. Buying the dip could have been a little bit lower there at 480. Getting in at 486 is a little bit high. Let's see if it resolves nicely. Seller at 5, C. Okay. Taps 5 there for a moment. Probably should be out. Yes, this is what I mean. I'm in. I have around 8 cents of profit. I'm just not taking it. Instead, I'm going to probably get out break even on this. Taking some off at 5. Okay, so it ends up getting back above 5. It's now a green candle with that bottoming tail, so now I'm going to hold this longer. I go ahead and end up adding at 508, 507, because it is a bottoming wick now, and I do want to see that break at 520, but I think it ends up reversing on me a little bit. I remember this being a loser, I don't know why. Let's just see it play out for a little bit here. Gets back over 510, 515. So I threw out another limit order to sell at 510, got filled. And getting the rest out at 514. So this actually ended up being a winner. Okay. And BGLC halts up again at 182. All right. So yeah, you can see I'm not down too much on the day. There's BMR. I trade it with small size, 450 and 900 shares, up $1 a share on it. I didn't trade this initial candle because it halted down within like a couple seconds, but on the halt resumption, I saw it put in this low, and I tried to buy this 18 level. Or actually, the previous candle, 1850. I think I bought as it was breaking 1850. For the retest of, or basically, after we get a halt down and a gap lower, if it looks like it's holding view up and it's not really halting down again, we tend to get a little bit of a move back up. Just how if you get a halt up and it doesn't look like it's going to halt up again right away, we tend to get like a little bit of a pullback. It's the same thing but in reverse. So here we get this move back up to the halt level, still holding some, taking off a half, at 1995. Looks like I take it off there at 2038. So, OMH. I take a big loss here. So I should have already been out. I think the only reason I'm holding this is because it's still bouncing around 80. But yeah, at this point I should be trying to get out. I don't cut it at 60 and now it's at 50. It's probably going to flush down to 40 on me if I don't cut it. Yep, there it goes. 30, 12, 20. Wow. Wow. How stupid is that? I added at 515, 900 shares. I'm down 60, 70 cents a share on this thing with 5,400 shares. And I'm adding at 515? You serious? Man, it's very extended and the halt down it's still at 432. I shouldn't even be in it though. I should have cut it the second it broke back below 560. We double topped there at 6 too. It's right there at 6 we double topped with 2 red wicks on the 5-minute. At this point I'm holding to see if we get another wick down and reclaim at 550. Because we've been getting those last 2 days where you get these strong wicks. But this is all holding and hoping. This is holding and hoping right here. Hoping it gets over 550, hoping it gets over 560, and I can just sell break even. Big buyer there at 30, which is also helping me. It's helping me hold. But this I should never be in this predicament where I'm down 30 cents on huge size. So let's see here. It probably breaks that buyer at 530. Yeah, it looks like I'm trying to get out at 530. Oh, I remember this. OMH 6,300 shares. So for some reason, I know the reason. I know the reason because it's happened to me before, but I didn't expect it to happen with only 6,000 shares. But basically, if you throw out an order that this only really pertains to people who are trading with around my size, but you'll learn about it once it happens to you. I think that's the best way to learn about it. But basically, if you throw out an order that is bigger than um, the average volume per candle on the previous day, I believe, or something like that, or off the total. Yeah, exactly, D-sign. Basically, if you throw out an order that's too big of a percentage based on the average daily volume for the stock, not including today's volume, then um, the broke the market makers will flag your order, and someone at TD Ameritrade or whatever broker you're using has to manually fill your order. They have to manually I don't think it's at TD Ameritrade, but I think one of the market makers has to manually fill your order. But basically, it doesn't get automatically executed, even though it's a market order. It has to be manually filled. And so I threw out an order here for 6,300 to sell at 530 because I saw this big seller was starting to break, and I was like, I want out. And I saw I didn't get filled right away, and it's a market order, so I should have. Because there's plenty of volume on this day. There's 370,000 shares in this 40-second window. So I should have gotten filled, but I didn't get filled right away. And so I go ahead and cancel the order, and I try selling a little bit more, I think, here. Let's see. Basically, I have to throw out an order that's less than like 5,000 shares in order for it to get filled right away. Right now, my share size is too big for the average daily volume, not including this day's volume. So I go ahead, I think it comes back down to 530, and I try and sell again. Watching. And this whole time I'm focusing on OMH, I missed this entire beautiful move on BGLC. That if I had just focused on the stock that I was up 5 grand on, I think I would have been green on the day. But I was focusing on all these other stocks that were just doing this to me, being down 30 cents on huge size, being down 70 cents on medium size. I was focusing on all these stocks that I was not doing good on when I had one that I knew I was doing good on, BGLC. I knew I was doing good on it, and I ignored it because I was like, okay, it's on its fourth or fifth halt up. I should have just stopped trading everything else and just focused on BGLC's price action. And if I just focused on it, I probably would have been able to get green on the day. But instead, I'm taking all these other big losses. Look at this, okay? So I try throwing out another market order for 6,300 shares as I see it come down. But again, it doesn't fill right away. And at this point, I had forgotten that this rule exists. Or it's not really I've forgotten. I'm aware that it exists, that where it's like it's too big of an order for the volume. But in the moment, I was not comprehending that that was the reason my order wasn't getting filled. But eventually I just go ahead and sell half and then sell another half here at 530, I think. So I'm out half there at 33 and half at 35 for the flush, but it ends up being a pretty big loss. The buyer at 30 is still holding. BGLC's halted up again. Let's see here. Buyer at 30 is thinning out. I know I take another big loss on this one. Couple more big losses on this one. BGLC halted down. Taking more and more losses on OMH. Got a decent bounce off VWAP, but yeah, this is all bad. I remember this trade on Hollow. This was a pretty good trade on Hollow. Got in here around VWAP, but it's a lot of size because at this point I'm desperate. I'm throwing around big size because I'm down 6 grand. So I actually held this one. I was red $1 a share on it pretty much. And this Hollow trade, I'm pretty sure I was going to hold until it looked like it was going to halt down or halt up. But this was not a good trade at all. It was, at this point I'm wrong on it, but I end up holding until I'm right, which is just, it's stupid, it's idiotic. It's what it is. So yeah, this should have been a trade where I cut it as soon as it went back below VWAP and then timed it again for the bottom down here. That would have been good, but because I held through this whole bottom and held through it as it came back to VWAP, this is all bad because this is all holding and hoping. So that's all bad. So great trade. Ends up going all the way up to 22.30, but on this I haven't sold a single piece yet because I wanted to halt up at 22.30 and then show 22.24 on resumption or something like that. I am seriously holding and hoping this for like a move where it gets halted up and it resumes 3 points higher and I'm green on the day. I mean, this was blind beginner's foolishness. And it ends up dropping another dollar a share on me. I sell for a small gain. Still a nice gain, but pure holding and hoping. That was a bad trade. And then I go ahead and take a trade on BGLC where I get stuck in the halt here. 8,000 shares in at 180. And I'm stuck in the halt as it comes down. And on resumption, it resumes. And I'm out at 135. I'm still in at 300 shares, stuck in the second halt down. On resumption, I sell it for the remaining bit. So on resumption here, whoops, you'll see I'm holding 300 shares into the second halt down. The second it resumes, I sell whatever I have left and end the day down 9,500. And that's not even the worst of it. That was this day. On the 14th, pretty much break-even day. It was kind of like a reset day from this previous day. 15th, we went over that. It was very much the same action as the 12th, where I was just trading those halt patterns. I went over that already in this video. You can go ahead and rewind if you're just now joining. And then Friday's action, there was one particular trade I wanted to go over, which kind of set off this chain reaction into having a really, really bad red day. So I'll go ahead and pull up Friday's trading archive. Here on Friday, already down quite a bit going into the open. You'll see I am actually in this halt. GXAI. I'm in the halt here at 22, halted up at 29, and it's showing 150. Showing a really nice resumption here. But, let's see. That's not the trade I wanted to go over, but I do want to see why I'm red 2000 on this one. Give me a second here. IFBD. Oh, you know what? I traded IFBD pre-market here on this high, on this pre-market high. I went red 1,300 on it pre-market. So again, pre-market trading is off limits. I gotta make that off limits. So pre-market trading. And remember, guys, let me go ahead and just throw this up again. Trading today's agenda. As soon as I'm done with all the recaps of last week, I will go ahead and read the chat and go over all the questions again. So, if I'm ignoring you for now, it's because I'm just trying to get through the agenda items, and we'll get to the Q&A right after everything else. So, should be there in just a little bit. Okay. Sorry if it feels like I'm ignoring you for now. So number 4, it was, what was I saying? It was, oh yes, no pre-market trading. This is a given for me. Not enough liquidity for me to be using the size that I use. The only way to trade pre-market, I feel, is if you trade it like Ross Cameron from Warrior Trading. That's all he does now is trade pre-market. And what he does is he's trading the breaking news as it's coming out around 7 a.m. Eastern time, which I don't do. The pre-market I'm doing is right before the bell, which is when stocks are usually pulling back, so I shouldn't be trading pre-market. Yeah, so no pre-market trading. You have to use limit orders. You can't use market orders pre-market. And the limit orders mean that I have to sell on the bid or the ask, but with the low liquidity levels pre-market, it just doesn't make sense for me to use a scalping strategy pre-market. Because I'll have to buy the ask and sell the bid, and it's just not enough range for me to do that. So down 1,300 on IFBD pre-market. One moment here, I'm gonna drink some water. Alright, so I have BD in this at 89. This is showing 79 on the bid. So this is just low volume crap. So I mean, this is something I already know though. Why am I trading this? Why am I down $2,000 on a ticker that has a 50,000 shares of volume on this candle? 25,000 shares. This is ridiculous. Why am I trading this? For the price it's at, it should be at least 300, 400,000 shares. But it's at 100,000. So this is low volume garbage. I know better than that. I have no clue why I'm trading this. Yeah, so for this price range, the $2 price range, it should be at least 300, 400,000 shares of volume per candle for me to be trading it. So this is just stupid. It's too big of a spread. I'm using way too large size for how big the spread is. I'm down 10 cents on just the spread alone. It's 900 bucks just on the spread. This is just foolish. So already down 3,200 on this one right here. See if GXAI resumption saves me here. Showing 35, showing a small gap up. We'll see. Okay, let's watch this resumption. My hand is on the buy button actively. You can see it's held down a little bit. I'm actively holding this. I want to see if I can buy it right away. I do, right there at 40, watching 55 for the halt up. I add as it shows 45, 47. But then look, it puts in that high of 47, back down to 35. This was horrible. Got out there. Lucky to get out there before it halted down at 25, out at 30. There's a big enough buyer at 30 for me to get out, but that big buyer was actually holding us up, so I ended up taking this $1,200 loss into that big support. So I sold into support. I end up getting back in 27,000 shares for the move through 55. Watching 47, break at 47, that's the previous high we put in. Adding some more for break of 50, we hit 49. And again, it's not breaking 50. There's a seller there at 46, popped up. I should start dumping shares because I'm in way too much size. I dump everything out. Took another $700 loss. At this point, I'm down 5,000. And this day was after the $32,000 day. So this is also directly after a huge green day. So directly after a huge green day, I tend to be a little bit more risky and taking these trades that I wouldn't take on any normal day. Taking it with huge size of $36,000 at 45 or $50,000 in that trade, which I normally would never do right at the open. Watching here, watching again for that break of 50 for 55. Seeing if we can get that break. Looks like it's breaking. There's 55. So here, this is a 10-cent win on 36,000 shares. And am I gonna hold this? What's going on here? I remember this. I take off 9,000 shares there, holding 27,000 into the halt up because I'm seeing the high a day is 170 pre-market, and I have a little arrow here that says this is all-time highs at 170. We're at all-time highs for this stock. And so I'm holding more than I would usually hold into this halt. Usually I would only hold half or a quarter. I'm holding 3/4 into this halt. 27,000 shares. And at 46, It's halted up at 55, and we're showing 170, 163. It's showing a good gap. It's showing promising. Like my idea behind this trade is I want it to go through 170 and halt up at 180 or 188 whenever it resumes at. And have this huge win that'll just be like, because I mean, yesterday was a $32,000 day. I had a $55,000 day already this week. It's just the action we've been seeing this week, so I was being very aggressive. And you'll see on resumption here, I'm going to ignore whatever trades are on IFBD here. Doesn't really matter. These are all bad trades with how little volume it has. So IFBD, I shouldn't have even been trading. Okay. This is kind of like the final flurry of trades we're going to go over for today. GXAI, it resumes pretty much flat, small gap up. It resumed at 56. It halted up at 55. And I'm watching this through 60 for the halt up at 171. Okay? If it breaks 60, it's going to hit 171 guaranteed, pretty much. But as we come up to 60, look. And this is in the blink of an eye. I will play this very slowly for you, and then I'll play it full speed, actually. I'll play it full speed, and then I'll play it slowly for you. But let's just watch this trade in full speed first. Okay, we're watching this level 2, GXAI on resumption. Watching the level 2, watching for the break of 60. There's 60. Oh, there's 41, halting down. Did you see it? Did you see it? Could you have gotten out? I don't think so. I don't think I could have gotten out. I didn't get out. I'm holding 27,000 shares into a halt down, showing 105 resumption. That's a 40-cent loss on 27,000 shares. It's catastrophic. And at this point, my heart dropped. I was like, oh shit. I mean, it was just pushing highs moments ago at 160. And it was looking like it was going to break highs at 170. And all of a sudden, just 141. And I'm going to play this for you really slowly. I'm going to show you one more time, and I'll pause every frame, okay? So we're pushing 160, right? It hit 160 there for a moment. We have this big buyer at 155, right? Watch. 1 unpause. 2 unpause. 3 unpause. It took 3 frames of a second or whatever to flush 20 cents. As a $1 stock. It's a $1 stock. It flushed 30 or 20%, 30% in a matter of a frame of a second. There was no reaction available. I mean, you can see I sold instantly the second I saw 41. And I'm not getting filled. Everyone's selling. But I mean, I sold as fast as I could. If I go back just one last time. It flushes, and I'm instantly, my orders are out. It's just not happening. Not going to get filled. And guess where it resumes? Guess where it resumes? It's a 10-minute long halt, so you know it's going to resume lower. If it's a 5-minute long halt, sometimes you get lucky it resumes halfway between it. Sometimes you get lucky it resumes at 130. But it's a 10-minute long halt, so you know it's going to resume exactly where it's showing. Resumes here at 115, and I'm out at 115. And that's not the worst of it. So we're down 13,000 here, right? Halt down's $1, halt up's 130. It had just broken view up here. It's really sold off here quite a lot. And I'm like, okay, let me take a dip trade here. There's a buyer there at 10 if you saw it. And it broke, so I'm going ahead and getting in here at pretty high fill there at 16. I wanted 10. But getting a high fill there at 16, watching 20. Nope, it's getting slammed some more. There's another 1,000 gone from 16 down to 104. Now it's holding 104. I'm going to get back in. Getting back in here at 110. Is he going to break 16.20 this time? There's a buyer at 11. There's a buyer at 11. I'm getting in big size here. 11 or 18,000 shares. And out at 7. It's too risky down here. But I'm still going to go ahead and add 18,000 more shares. Because I know it's going to bounce. I know it's going to bounce. It's going to hit 25. 27,000 shares. Looking for the break on 115. It's looking weak. It's looking weak. Out at 107. So look at that. And down to 15,000, right? Now I keep on doing this for a couple more times below $1. I try getting a really big position down here at 98 for the break back over 1. At this point, I'm just desperately swinging, and I bring the day down to 19,000. So I get a nice win there on AMBO from 45 to 60, but instantly I give it back on this trade right here. Put in 54,000 shares. I think 72,000. Yeah, 72,000 shares for a 10-cent loss. This is insane. Yeah. Basically, down 17 grand on the day, right? And that all stemmed from that one loss right here, where I was down after the resumption. Let's see. On the resumption, I was down 13 grand. So I lost an extra 4 grand on revenge trading this particular ticker. So this week I got caught on I think three halts down. I usually don't get caught in halts down. I'm pretty risk adverse when it comes to halts down. I usually don't buy dips near halts down. If it's near the halt down level, I don't buy the dip usually, for just fear that I'm gonna get stuck in it. This week I got caught in 3 halts down. One of them ended up being devastating, with this one dropping 30% on me with a huge size. I know Mighty Stocks, he also was stuck in this halt down, but he only had 2,700 shares. I had 27,000, 10 times the amount. But yeah, this halt down definitely wrecked a lot of people. And that trade in particular, I really don't hold it against myself. It was one of those trades where it's just like, well, it was kind of like a guaranteed loss. It was pushing highs, actively pushing highs at 160. Look, I was looking for the break of 160, 170, halt up at 171. And because it didn't break 160, it flushed 20 cents instantly. And I don't think there's any human that could have reacted to that not breaking 160. You'd have to be a computer to be able to react to that. And so I don't blame myself for that $9,000 loss. It was, the blame is completely out. It's not on me. I don't blame myself for that. What I do blame myself for is the $4,000 after, and the $3,000 before on IFBD, or whatever it was. Yeah, IFBD. Should not have been trading this one at all. It had no volume for being a $2 stock. And then the $4,000 after on GXAI, revenge trading it down here. It had already fully retraced the move and some. So buying dips around $1 is fine, but the dips before it got down to $1, right here around 116 and 110, those were not fine. But yeah, so that was last week's trading. If I pull up the agenda today, what can be done to improve? What can be done to improve? So far the notes we have for this, what can be done to improve? So far we have, I'm taking too large of size on the day after a big green day before getting green. So something I can do to combat that is going into that next day after a good green day, use a fourth of the size that I would normally use or a fourth of the size that I would be using coming off of yesterday's trades. So basically half of normal size. Because what I end up doing is, if I pull up a note, like a paint pad here or something, on the big green days, right? On the big green days, a big green day, right? Or, let's see. Basically, big green day. Excuse my handwriting with the mouse. So big green day, I'm using 2x normal size, right? 2x normal size. And then I have normal day, right? Using 1x normal size. Using my normal size on a normal day. And on the day after, day after big green day. Excuse my handwriting. Day after big green day, I want to be using 0.5 times normal size. Basically, I have to be going from this size that I was using literally the last trade of the big green day to about a fourth of that size going into the first trade of the next day. That's what I mean when I say a fourth of that. That should help a little bit in terms of not digging myself a huge red hole right away from using a fourth size. Just until I get green, then I can go back to normal size, and then from there I can come and size up as soon as I start seeing those halting stocks again. So another thing to note, another thing I can improve on is holding scalps longer after a big green day, hoping for a burst of green momentum and halting up right away. Basically hoping that yesterday's action continues into today right away, instead of just waiting for it to prove that it's going to be the same. So basically, what I can do to combat that is just scalp normally. Basically, I have to do some sort of mental reset going after a big green day. If I do a mental reset, basically, and what I do to help myself a little bit is the second after I have a big green day, I also withdraw the entirety of the big green day out of the account, just so I can't use that buying power going into the next day. And it helps a little bit, but it also, it's not enough to just take the money out. I have to also just kind of like mentally reset and just pretend like that day is gonna be any normal day. It's really hard to do that. Like after the $55,000 day, it's very hard to go back to being like, okay, my normal max loss is 2,000. I normally make 2,000, 3,000 a day. It's very hard to do that when you just made 55,000 that previous day. And so I have to figure out some sort of way of mentally resetting on the day after a big green day. Hey twin, how's it going? So, one thing I can do is just try and mentally reset, hold those scalps for a normal amount of time, not holding and hoping, like what it looks like was what I'm doing. Uh, After reviewing those two big red days, it looks like I'm holding these scalps and hoping for it to go big green instead of just taking the $200 or $300 winner. Hoping for that $1,000 winner instead, which is not always the case. And I should just take those small profits, let them add up into $1,000 day, $2,000 day, and then after I have that cushion, look for that halting stock. On Tuesday it was BGLC. On Friday it was GXAI, but it ended up halting down. And then also on Friday, if I hadn't gone red so fast, so big, I mean, because I was out of the market within 30 minutes. I was done in 30 minutes. And I saw when I came back on later that afternoon that not I didn't come back on to trade, but I came back to review, and I saw that HOLO had moved to $99 or $100 from like 30 bucks. Not to say I would have made money on that, but that was the stock of the day. It wasn't GXAI. It was HOLO. And so I missed that move because of how early I got knocked out. So if I can just stay above water and be small green on the day after a big green day and just have that small cushion, then I can use that cushion for when the actual stock that everyone's going to start trading crazily starts to move. So another thing is on that day, so on the day after a crazy move, basically build a small cushion and wait. So build a small cushion and wait for the one stock. So number 3, you need to have a max loss per ticker. I think this is a great idea to implement, having a max loss per ticker or per stock. That way, something like DBGI doesn't happen to me again, where I'm down like 7,000 on it, where I should only be down 2,000 or 1,000. This just allows me to stay in the game longer so that I can wait longer for the one that actually is working for me. No pre-market trading. I don't usually trade pre-market, but last week I traded pre-market twice, and it was both on the red days. And it was because it sent me red like 1 or 2,000 before the market even opened. So that's not good. It's just not enough liquidity, and I have to, in order to scalp pre-market, you have to buy the ask and sell the bid, and it's just not good. Alright, so those are the key takeaways from the red days after the big green days. I really have no problems trading the halting momentum. I feel like I do it very well. It's shown in those 2 big green days that I can trade those crazy stocks really nicely. It's just on the day after I have pretty much no sense of risk management, and I think implementing these little small changes, they're really small changes, just changing how much size I use at the start of the day until I get that profit cushion, and then also just changing the mentality and doing a little mental reset on the day after a big green day, because I don't know which stock is going to be the one until it starts like halting up. So that should be, I believe that's it for the guidelines and systems I'm going to be putting in place to protect future gains. So I'm going to go back and scroll up and see what's up with the chat. We'll do a little small Q&A here. It is 8:30 Pacific time for me, so I should be starting to wrap up the day and start getting ready for bed. So let's go over the Q&A here for just a little bit here. Let's see here. Mr. Cheese, I used to trade the penny stocks a lot, but I was using too much money and caught in the halt down, never went back. Yeah, so I love the penny stocks. It's what I've always been profitable on, or since I've been profitable. It's the price range of stocks that I gained my profitability on, and so I always have a soft spot for those sub $1 stocks. As long as it's above like 20 cents, I don't mind trading it. Below 20 cents is where it's like I have to take like 100,000 shares to make even like a single like profit on it. So, and then at that point you're just getting too much SEC fees. But above 20 cents, really above 30 cents is where I really like to start trading the penny stocks. But yeah, that's what made me profitable, and so I always come back to them whenever they're moving, especially when they're close to a dollar. If it's like 90 cents a share, I love trading those for the break of a dollar. You can get really nice wins there. A tour, hello. Let's see. Chicago, good evening. Long bias bananas. Hello, hello. So yeah, long bias bananas. I'm basically just trading the level 2 price action along with the chart pattern of dip trades and taking these what's it? These so yeah, here example on AMBO, buying these dips when they do these little wicks. Right here is a perfect example. Let me see if I take that trade. Yeah, so right here on AMBO, I take this trade. Yeah, so on this one, we put in this wick down here at 50. I'm in at 51, 72,000 shares. I'm looking for this to break back over 55. For this candle to go green, we had just moved from 45 and 40. So as long as this holds 50, I'm going to stay in, I think. Oh, looks like I'm bailing at 51 because of how much I'm already around the day. Yeah, I shouldn't have bailed just there. Should have waited till it hit 50. But yeah, buying these dips, especially when they do these little wicks. So it held 50 there, so I'm back in full size. I think I get in 72,000 shares here. 51 average, and I'm watching this for the break of 55. I try adding some more there up to 90,000 shares, but I just don't have the buying power at this point in the day. So I try adding for the break of 55. 61 is the halt up. Watching 61. There's a buyer there at 57. Does it hold up? Yes, we do. Watching 58. There's 61. I'm trying to dump some shares here. At 61. Out there for a really solid winner. I think it was like 6,000 right there. I end up taking a loss here afterward by getting greedy, but basically I'm trying to buy dips in the price action and the level 2. Congrats on the winnings, Gregster, thanks. Mighty Goat, yep. Finally getting that recap out for you guys. Rick, nice to see you here. Fuchsia, Din Din. Nice to see you guys here again. Pattern day trader, are you able to trade tomorrow? I should be able to. There might be some complications with my account balance based on that Friday's loss. Because I took out, the problem is with my account balance, and hopefully it doesn't work out like this, but basically trying to save up for a house down payment, right? So I'm putting all my trading earnings into this high yield savings account, right? But the high yield savings account has a transaction time of like 3 days. further deposits and withdrawals. And on Thursday, I made 32,000, bringing my account to 60,000, right? And I took out the 30,000, bringing my account back down to 30,000 on Friday, right? So I had 30,000 in the account on Friday, and then I lost the 17, right? So my account is currently sitting here. However, this $30,000 withdrawal to the high yield savings account didn't actually go through on TD Ameritrade's end just yet. And so my account is still showing as 43,000. So whether or not I'll be able to trade tomorrow depends on whether or not this transaction goes through. I've already redeposited 15,000 from the high yield savings account, and that should show up on Wednesday. Or maybe Thursday, I don't know. But basically, I might be able to trade tomorrow, I might not be able to. Depends on how the money transfers go from the high yield savings account. Stocks going near or under VWAP. I try to avoid trading. Din, yeah, so stocks around VWAP are a little tricky. If it's coming to VWAP from the top and coming down to VWAP, I like taking trades off of VWAP and a little bit below VWAP as dip trades. If it's coming up to VWAP, like in this example on AMBO, here it did a flat top at 40, and once it broke 40, it just went off to the races. So as long as it's breaking and holding the level, I take the trade no matter where it really is. Although if it's like well below VWAP, I usually don't trade the stock anymore. If it sells off and it's really below VWAP, I don't trade it anymore. Okay, Tyman, good job, bro. What do you have open that shows the halt levels on the screen along with your active trader? This right here is the Dash Trader Pro level 2. So it shows the LULD levels, limit up, limit down. That's the halt levels. It also shows it right here in the level 1. Look, little highlight bar here. But yeah, this is just DOS level 2. I pay like 150 a month for it, 150 a month. And it's connected directly to my Thinkorswim account, so I can actually execute through this software, and it'll route the orders to my TD Ameritrade account. Which is nice, because I can use hotkeys on DOS that I can't normally use on Thinkorswim. So I like it for that, but on the lower price ones, where I need to be using 9,000 and 18,000 share blocks, I just use the Thinkorswim because DOS doesn't really have the I don't have hotkeys set up to sell 18,000 share blocks on DOS. So I just use Thinkorswim for the sub $1 stocks. But yeah, this is the level 2. It's what I use to trade most of my trades. It's pretty much all my trades are based off the level 2, and I use the chart to pick out the price level I want to get in at, and then I use the level 2 to determine the timing on the entry. Yep, looks like you answered the question. Pablo, how much are you up on the month? Before this week, I think I was up like I think 8,000, so I think 68,000. I'm not too sure. I wasn't up that much on the month before this week. It was kind of a random wild week out of nowhere, starting with Monday. It was just like boom, and just all of a sudden just a bunch of momentum came in. Robotic, Robotico. Is that how you pronounce that? Robotico? Is that level 2 E-Trade or DOS? It's DOS. DOS Trader Pro. Pablo, did you make 60K on the month? No, that was 60,000 this week. So this past week was 60,000. Did you trade BMR, HOLO, 10X? I did trade BMR. I did trade HOLO. I did trade Syra a little bit, I think. I don't think I traded MGOL or NVIV. Um, all we do is twin. Tried to take 26 out of my account last week, and it never transferred at all. I transferred on Monday, and it never went to my account. Yeah, so I don't know. For some reason, my money is still inside my TD Ameritrade account as well. I mean, fingers crossed. Hopefully, it stays there. Hopefully, the transfer never really happened, because otherwise, I'll be below PDT, and I won't be able to trade tomorrow morning. Fingers crossed that the transfer just, I guess, postpones one more day. But we'll see if I can trade tomorrow. I'll wake up and check my balance. Going back up the Q&A here. Sorry, this is a repeat question. Just tuning in. Malik, wanted to ask about catching dips. What nuances are you looking out for? For example, do you simply rely on price being bullish and catch anything that goes lower? It's a little bit of that. That's a very simplified version of saying what I'm doing with the dips. Malik, but basically on these dips you're looking for it's supposed to be in a bullish pattern, otherwise the dip can end up being a flush. And so you want it to be off of highs, or when it's starting to form like a 2 or 3 bar pullback. That's also a good way of getting in low. But you want it to be holding a price level. So like, for example, on AMBO here, it broke down 50 and it went down to 48, but there was at 48, instead of going lower down to 45 and flushing down even more, at 48 it had this hesitation on the level 2. If I go back here, and just play it out, whoops. So it went down to 48, right? Let's see here. Yeah, it goes down to 48, and see that right there? Here, I'll play it back really slowly. Here, I'll go back. Control Shift J. Alright, so I'm gonna go ahead and slow this down a little bit. Control Shift H. Okay, so watch as it comes down here to 48. And you're gonna see, I have it on super slow-mo here. There's this buyer at 48, and it's not really going down, and it's hesitating here. And we start seeing the green on the tape at 49. So that was my indicator. Once it didn't break 48 and the bids started coming back above 49, that's when I'm starting to press the buy button again for the break back over 50. We'll see it here shortly. This is in. And there's a big buy wall there or a big bid wall there at 49.38 as well. So that's my indicator to get in. big buyer stepping in at 50, and on that, I go ahead and so basically I'm looking for a hesitation as it's dipping down. If it hesitates at a level, I'm looking to get in for a small bounce back up. That's a pretty simple version, and there, I mean, you could see it right there play out on AMBO, and then it ends up from there. That initial one I sold a little bit too soon because I didn't give it enough wiggle room to 50. If I gave it the wiggle room to 50, like if I had been up 17 grand on the day instead, I probably would have let it wiggle at 50. I wouldn't have had to sell that position, but it ends up going higher from 50 to 61. Mighty Goat, watching the ladder versus DOS level 2 makes it seem like the ladder is a bit delayed. Like on the big flush down, the ladder was half a second behind. If you're talking about the GXAI flush, yeah, the TOS or Thinkorswim data, I believe it's like just the tiniest bit behind the DOS level 2 data. If you compare DOS level 2 to Thinkorswim level 2, it's a huge drastic difference. But I initially became profitable on Thinkorswim's level 2. I didn't need all the fancy gadgets. And so if you're a beginner or if you're just starting out, don't pay for level 2. Don't pay for premium trade software tracking and all that. Don't pay for scanners. Everything's free out there if you want it to be. I mean, as a beginner, you really should have no software costs. Your only cost should be really just whatever it costs to get you a computer and maybe like a second monitor. I think trading off one monitor is a little silly. I think you really do need two at least. Right now I have three. I plan on getting more, but yeah, you really only need two monitors, and there's free scanners on YouTube. There is the free TOS level 2. I mean, yeah, I mean you can get started in this day trading thing with very little money up front, and that's what makes it so appealing to so many people. Andy, super curious on your sizing. I remember, if I'm not wrong, in 2023 you started to size up, and it seemed pretty quick. You went from some three-figure days to four-figure days. Recently, I think you sized down, but have you sized up from trading well? Or is sometimes emotional sizing? Andy, I haven't really sized down recently. I'm pretty much at the size I'll be at for at least the next 4 or 5 months. There's not really much sizing I can go bigger than this until, I mean, right now I'm using the kind of like some of the highest size I can use with a free commission broker just because of slippage on market orders. If I go and start trading with 8,000 shares on a $8 stock, I'm gonna definitely get some slippage on my exit with a free commission broker on a market order. So I'm starting to reach the peak share size that a free commission broker will let me reasonably use with this strategy. So in terms of sizing, I'm pretty much kind of like at max size. In terms of emotional sizing, yes, I do think on these big red days I was using a little bit larger size than I should have, which is exactly why I am making these mental notes that I should be using a fourth of that size until I get to having a profit cushion on the day. Building a small cushion and just waiting for that one stock to start halting. If that answers your question. A tour. How do you want me to pronounce your name? A tower. A a tour. Let's just say a tour for now. Or yeah. I noticed that you maintain the trade even when your profit loss exceeds 1,000. Do you primarily monitor the profit loss or set a specific target for selling? If you're talking about the, yeah, I guess you're saying profit and loss. I see you're in Trading Farmers chat a lot, so I'm assumed that you're comparing me to him. He typically does have a lot of trades where he sells for $200 profit or $200 loss. He has a lot smaller wins and losses than me. And I really do envy him for that because um, it's very tough being as profitable as I am, but also as inconsistent as I am. I think I definitely have problems with uh, taking profit as well as letting some trades get away from me when they're in the red. Uh, I don't really have specific targets I'm looking for. It's more so I'm looking for exit indicators in the level 2. So if my target is, let's say I'm buying this dip off VWAP on GXAI at 108. My initial thesis is probably going to be a bounce back towards 115, maybe 120, and the halt ups at 121. And then we have this wick here at 130. So basically I will be getting in at 108, and then from there, if it drops to 105, 104, I'll take it off for a loss. But if we get that hold of 110, then I'm looking for, as long as it holds 110, I'm going to stay in as long as I possibly can until it shows me that sellers are taking it over. So really I'm looking for the level 2 giving me an exit indicator. Whether that be like a big seller popped up at 111 and now I got to get out, or if there's a big buyer propping us up, then I'm going to hold on as long as possible and just sell into the buyer if I need to. Malik, what's the best platform to get reps in on hyperscalping? I would think TD Ameritrade and Thinkorswim is really good for hyperscalping. Just using small size if you're new to it, using 1 share, 5 shares, and just getting used to the feel of hyperscalping. You really want to be buying the dips mostly, and then once you get more comfortable, you can start buying breakouts. Only problem with buying breakouts is you have to be a little bit quicker on selling if it goes against you because you are buying higher. If you're buying dips, you can afford to hold a little bit longer. But if you buy a dip and it keeps on going lower, you do want to get out because you definitely mistimed it at that point. The best platform, I would just probably use Thinkorswim. Um, it's a great all-around platform. Kin, possible Thinkorswim setup guide in the future. Clean layout. Yeah, I could probably do a setup guide or a layout thing video. I think I already have this study right here with the previous low high and current high low. I think I already have it linked in the description somewhere. On one of these videos, I have to go look at that. But in terms of the layout, yeah, I could probably throw it up somewhere, or make a video on it. James, I'm still fighting the mentality of fear of losing. Yeah, it sucks. I've been making the same mistake for countless time. Always exit the position for small loss right before the stock starts to run. Yeah, so if you're exiting out of fear of loss, it's not exactly the worst exit because it means that you're exiting because you. How do I put this? You're exiting a little bit premature. You're not letting the trade fully uh, work itself out. But if you're exiting because the level 2 is kind of being finicky and it's not doing exactly what you want, then you're exiting. I would say that's a good exit because it's not doing what you think it's going to do right away. So James, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a bad thing. If you're exiting before the level 2 is showing to you that it's kind of not really doing what you want, then that's when it starts to be bad, because then you're not really letting the trade work out. If you're getting in because you saw an entry indicator and you're holding and it's still working out in your favor, but you're not letting it fully work out, then that's also like you might just be getting you might be trading with either too much size or um, not having enough data to support your strategy yet. I can't think of another reason at the top of my head, but yes, I wouldn't say that's too big of a problem as long as you're still taking profit where you're supposed to be taking profit. Taking losses really fast is, I think that's fine, as long as you're capping your losers. And I mean, if it's always happen, if you're always exiting right before the big run, then maybe just watch the recordings of your trading and see why you're exiting. Like go back and look at it again. Did you really have to exit there, or were you just kind of scared? Because if you look back at it, right, when there's no money on the line, it's later in the day, there's no emotion, there's no money on the line because it's a recording now. And you look back at it and you're like, why'd I get out there? There was really no reason to get out. Then that's where you have to flag it and be like, okay, well, why did I get out? Was I scared of a potential flush? What was the reason? And if there is no reason, then you really have to be going back over that trade and just being like, okay, so if I just give myself an extra second or an extra 2 seconds to hold this, next time this happens at the exact same setup, let it happen, let it play out for an extra second, let it extra 2 seconds. As long as it's still in your favor or in your best interest to let it play out, then yeah, just try holding it a little bit longer. A tour. What size is your current monitor? Do you have any specific size preferences? I think my current monitor is 24 inches. 24 and a half, 25, I'm not sure. I have a 24-inch, a 24-inch side one, and then my other 24-inch side monitor broke, and so I'm using my little brother's 22-inch side monitor until I get another one. But I think the 22-inch is fine. I'm just gonna use it until I get my nice 6 monitor setup. I don't know. Yeah, I have two 24 inches and then a one 22-inch. My desk size is not the biggest, so maybe once I get a bigger desk, maybe I'll get 27-inch monitors. But for now, 24-inch works fine. Alright, last question here. Mighty Goat, the DOS level 2 just seems so confusing compared to the ladder. It's just so much info while the ladder is so simple. I don't know how you do it. Well, I learned from Warrior Trading. I learned from Ross Cameron. That's where I learned all my fundamentals, and that's why I used the traditional level 2. So, if I had learned from Trading Farmer, then maybe I would be using the ladder right now. But I learned from Ross Cameron. I don't um I don't mind using the level 2. I actually really enjoy it. it's it's nice being able to see literally all the different market makers, all the different uh different uh different buyers or different sellers. Because I mean, here on GXAI on this single frame, on the ladder all you see is an 85 there, but on the level 2 you see it's seven or six different sellers, not just one. So you can see that ask stack, and you can see, oh, it's kind of like a cell wall. All this green block, this huge green block versus this small green block. So if I had to guess, it's gonna go down in the next couple seconds, down to 105, 105. Yep. Now there's a big buy wall here, 5 versus 4, but I mean it's hard to do with just a couple frames. But here's a small bid wall at 6. I mean, let's see. Oh, whoops. Sorry, it's not the last question. My bad. For some reason my chat wasn't updating. There's a couple more questions down here. All right. But yeah, so I learned from Ross Cameron, so I use the traditional level 2 and I have no problems using it. It took me a while to learn it. It was a lot of info to take in when I was a beginner, a newbie. But I'm happy I learned it, and no regrets learning the level 2. Malik, do you look at spreads for when you're about to enter? For example, do you want to see them tighten before the price starts to move back up? Yeah. Yeah, I definitely do look at spreads. If a stock is getting very spready, um, as it's pulling back, I want to see the spreads tighten up around the ask before I go ahead and take a entry. If it's tightening around the bid, then that typically might end up resulting in another leg down. Um, so I kind of see it like a slinky, or like a, one of those like slinky dogs from Toy Story. The slinky dog. It's like you know how the head moves and then the kind of like the butt of the dog kind of like follows along. Um, Basically, I want to see, as we pull back, I want to see the slinky kind of retract towards the ask versus the bid, if that makes sense. It's like when a stock gets very spready, it's like a slinky being pulled apart, and then whatever side it kind of tightens around is where it's kind of gonna go headed in that direction. Or even not even, it could also be like a rubber band. Like if you stretch a rubber band and you let go of, let's say the left side is the bids and the right side is the ask. If you let the right side and you let go of it, and the or the rubber band snaps towards the left side, it's coming with all this force as it tightens around the bid. All that momentum is going to come and break the bid down, if that makes sense. Time Man, do you worry about the 390 rule from the SEC so you don't get flagged as a professional trader and keep your order average under 390 a day? Yeah, I do worry about it. I got 2 warnings for it this last month. My first and second warning ever. Since then, I have been keeping a little Excel sheet to track my orders. So I got my first flagged warning here. My first warning was issued there. I continued to trade high volume or high amount of orders, and I got my second warning there. And since then, I've been keeping my weekly average at 390. So I wasn't tracking it until I got my second flag. Once I got my second warning, I was like, okay, I better start tracking this because I don't want to get a third or a fourth and be actually getting commissions for this. So I started tracking my order counts ever since that second warning, and hopefully I don't get flagged again. I go to appreciate the live stream. Thank you. Hopefully we crush it this week. Hopefully I can trade this week. I mean, I don't know about the money transfers. Um, Hopefully, fingers crossed, I can trade tomorrow morning. I can wake up to a above PDT account. But if not, I'll probably have to wait till Thursday or something for the deposit to settle. League, I get you. That's a good analogy. I kind of see it the same way. Yep. Yeah, twin, I have the same problem with the ladder. I really can't read it that well when it just says the one or two numbers on the bid and ask with all the empty space. I don't know how Farmer does it. Twin DOS shows your overall orders. Yeah, so I know DOS shows the ticket count right here, but I don't think they include the canceled orders. So what I do is I go on the mobile app and I look at my total orders there, and that's what I write down in the Excel sheet. That's what I'm doing right now, because apparently the canceled orders count too. Um, at least that's what I've heard. So I'm including the canceled orders for now until I'm told otherwise. I might call them just to confirm for myself, but yeah, the tickets right here on DOS, it only shows the filled orders, not the total orders, as far as I know. Ty, thank you for all your answers and putting out the session. Thank you, thank you. I appreciate all the congrats. Hopefully you all could take something from this. I really did enjoy doing this little session. It's been almost 3 hours at this point. I did kind of expect it to be more than 2 hours. Um, Mimo, do they send an email for the warnings? Yeah, they do send you an email and a message in the message center for when you break the 390 order rule. They give you, what I've heard is they give you like 3 or 4 warnings, but I'm at warning number 2 and I don't want to really go above it, just in case I accidentally, just in case there's a week where I really want to go hard on trading. Like if I have a week where I'm making like 100 grand a day or something, like Ross did in 2020, I don't want to limit myself during that time. So I will risk a 390 order warning during that kind of momentum. But right now, when I'm just trading to trade, I don't want to risk another warning. So I think I have room for like one more warning, but I don't want to risk it just now. Yeah, Martinez, you don't get banned for going over the limit. You just get charged for commissions, and I can't go. I can't use this strategy with commissions. I was told that it's going to be $2 per trade, and it's just not my strategy. It's already so my edge is very small that if I was charged $2 per trade, I would not be profitable. design, no, the warnings aren't specific. They basically just say, hey, over the last couple of weeks, your order count has been over 390 orders a day on average, so if you don't get it back under this average moving forward, then we're going to have to implement commissions or something like that. But it's not specific, no. That's why I started doing the order tracking myself. That's why I started doing this. So on Monday when I made 55 grand, I had almost 900 orders so for the rest of the week I had to undertrade. Twin, open another account. Crispy has two, and so do other big traders. Yeah, I was gonna open another account like with either like trade. I have an account with TradeStation. Um, or I mean, would I be able to open another account at TD Ameritrade? Because um, from what I read in the email, it says, it says you have to stay under the 390 orders across all your accounts. Is that all your accounts with TD Ameritrade, or is that in general? I'm not too sure. Um, I don't think I can show the message because I think it has my account number in the message center, but it says across accounts, or it says it like this. It says across. It says it like that. So I assumed that meant like my IRA as well. Because I don't think you can open two individual accounts, can you? If so, I would just do that and just open two PDT accounts. But also, I mean, the 390 order rule is kind of keeping me contained in terms of like over trading, so I don't actually mind it too much. I might open an account with TradeStation again just to be able to take extra trades on um, days where stuff is going really crazy. Open a joint account with your girlfriend. Oh, maybe. Actually, that might be good. Huh. Didn't think about that. Wait a second, you're onto something. Ooh, ooh. Avoiding SEC rules. What? Nope, I didn't say anything. Wait, okay, okay. All right, I'll look into it. Maybe opening up a joint account might be nice. Wait. Um, I don't know how the taxes would work with that. I'd have to look into all that. If that would count as her income or something. Yeah, I do. Martinez, you getting it? I should just, yeah, that's what I should do. Totally. Get 5 accounts. Funny. All right, guys. Uh, wealth generation guide, yep. All right, I'm gonna take off. It's getting late. It's getting ready for bed. Hopefully the momentum continues this next week. We did have a holiday 3-day weekend, which usually tends to slow things down going into the next day. So Tuesday might be slow, but maybe things will pick up on Wednesday and Thursday, hopefully. Um, Last week's action was very reminiscent, very related to, or was very similar to 2020 and 2021's action. So if that can continue for even just another week or two, I would be very grateful. Uh, if it doesn't continue, then we did capitalize a lot last week, and I'm still proud of my trading. Except, I mean, I had some revenge trading on this day. I had a trade where I got caught for a $9,000 loss. It was pretty much unavoidable. Um, this day was a little bit disappointing, but these 2 days, it's amazing. I never thought going into this opening day on the 12th that I'd be making 55,000 that day, and it's just crazy. I mean, I was up 30 grand, and I was like, oh my god, I'm doubling my best day ever at 16. I'm at 32 now. I'm at 38. Oh my god, can I get 3 times my daily goal, my best day ever at 48,000? And I hit 48, I hit 50, I hit 60, and I was like, oh my god. And stuff was still running too. It was crazy. I kept on that day. I kept on texting my girlfriend to not come into the room because I was usually I'm done by like 7:30, 8:30 in the morning, and I'll go wake her up. But she woke up without me, and I was like, hey, you cannot come into the room right now. I cannot leave either. It's too much. I don't understand. But yeah, that was a hell of a day, and yeah, hopefully it continues. That'd be amazing. I wasn't profitable back in 2020, but I sure hell wish I was. I mean, the amount of money those guys were making back in 2020. I'm ready. I'm ready for the next 2020, and when it happens, it happens. But I'll be here waiting, and we'll get through the slow markets. We'll get through the hot markets, and wait for that next round of 2020 action. All right, guys. It's been a great review session. Thank you all for coming. I'll go ahead and throw these up here so that you can see my takeaways as we end the stream here. And good luck trading tomorrow. If you're not already in the Discord server, the link's in the description. And that's where I post my daily P&Ls, as well as what stocks I'm actively watching, especially the halt resumption timers and the halt prices. Um, and but yeah, so I'll let everyone know tomorrow morning if I'm able to trade tomorrow with the whole money transfer thing going on in my account. Um, but yeah, so I'll let you guys know first thing if I'm able to trade tomorrow morning. Yeah, so just in the Discord, it's in the description. All right, take care, guys. Have a great rest of your night. Sleep well, and let's wake up tomorrow morning ready, but not expecting anything great because it was a 3-day weekend, but ready and just in case it does. All right, take care, guys. Have a great night.